Namaste and welcome to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. It's been a while since I've been here. I, like most of all of you, have been caught up in life circumstance. Life sometimes can have its challenges and its blessings. Sometimes things are easy to maneuver through, sometimes they're not. The ups and downs, peaks and valleys of this experience of being human. I often get caught up in what I heard referred to by Erwin Laszlo today as the culturally bound recipe of being a human. So sometimes we get caught up in all our conditioning and our humanity that we fail to live with that true purpose in mind of being, expressions of something greater. And I often get caught up in that and get bound up by my ego and my need to please society and all those things that most of us deal with on a day-to-day basis. That being said, let me digress and continue with our exercise. I'll reach in if I can find my jar here. Pull a question from the jar. I'm going to take a deep breath just to keep me centered. And I will make my timer ready so I can just tap it when it comes time to tap it. Try to get this in within 10 minutes. Okay. How do we stand in others' way when we try to help? How do we stand in others' way when we try to help? And that is a wonderful question. I'll begin by reciting a quote I seen on a placard once in a therapist's office. And it said that help was the sunny side of control. And that has stuck with me ever since. And that was eons of years ago that I seen that. And still it plays, at my heartstrings, making me realize that help can sometimes be a sign of control. We help sometimes not so much for the altruistic reasons that we tell ourselves, and we truly believe that we are helping for those reasons, so it's not something we have to beat ourselves up for, but maybe just become a little bit more aware and self-compassionate when we see ourselves doing this. We help with this guise in mind that it will make us feel better without truly realizing that that's why we're doing it. We feel bad when we see other people suffering, so we want to end that suffering. Not just for the human or the being that is suffering, but for ourselves because it's uncomfortable to witness. If we can't numb from it, if we can't turn our heads to it, if we can't run from it, if we can't suppress and repress that painful experience of observing suffering in another, we will try to help. And our help can sometimes be manufactured. Our idea of help can be manufactured by our own ideologies, our own idea of what we think is right and wrong, our own conditioning, and not so much for the reality of the situation. So we try to help sometimes in ways that suit us, and we do it sometimes without knowing, for reasons that serve us as the little me experiencing watching someone suffer. So when we say that the question was again, how do we stand in others' way when we try to help? I think we have to realize that we all have a mission here on earth, whether we know it or not, some purpose to fulfill. We're all on our own journeys. What I believe in the deepest sense is coming back to who we truly are and coming back to right-mindedness, as the Buddhists would say. We're coming back to understanding why we're here and who we truly are and getting deeper rather than more entrapped or entangled in the physical reality most of us are experiencing as our only reality. So as we're on these journeys, some people are going to venture off and have challenges that they are meant to have, whether we know it or not, or can understand the meaning of it or not, but these challenges we assume are bad, wrong, shouldn't be, so we seek out to help the individual, or we tell the individual they have to help themselves, not recognizing that these challenges may be something we actually chose prior to coming into these incarnations to help the soul, this true being that we are within this physicality, grow and expand, to help consciousness as a collective grow and expand. So these people have these challenging experiences for a reason. There's something they're supposed to learn from these challenges. Not the little me learn, but the deeper part of themselves learn. And when we see them going through that, because it is uncomfortable for us, we may step up to try to help, but what we're actually doing is we're standing between them and life, and what life has planned for them, what life has is unfolding for them as a means for them to grow and expand. We assume so much erroneously. We assume that we as humans have the answers and that we can fix things and we can control life, and life is here to serve us. So we should be out there, manipulating life and fixing life and, helping other beings in the way we assume they should be helped. And we're stepping in the way of a deeper understanding maybe that was there long before we actually incarnated into these bodies. A deeper understanding maybe it was here for billions and billions of years prior to the Earth actually emerging from the Big Bang Theory. We're here, there's just so much we do not understand. And with our limited minds, we try to understand and control these things using our psyches and our egos and these things we create in our minds, what the Hindus would call Maya, to explain this and help us. One of those things we do. Not that it's wrong to care about another person and to have compassion, but true compassion is not necessarily trying to alleviate the suffering for our own benefit so we feel better. We do have that discomfort for a reason, because we are supposed to be in tune to the suffering of others, because we're one consciousness, right? And we're all suffering when one suffers. Yet, and we are to do our best to serve. But we also have to be very mindful that we do not have the answers. We do not have the ability maybe to help everyone in every situation. And the most important thing we can do is step back and observe from a distance. Observe from a distance the suffering another is experiencing, and feel that compassion in our heart, that true desire for them to be well. We can observe our own humans, the humans we call me, with their reactivity and their response to witnessing the suffering of another human being and their desire to help, and we can question that desire to help and the actions we are maybe reactively taking part in as we watch these other people suffer. We have to ask ourselves, is this truly for the higher good, what I'm about to do now? Is my helping this other person for me, this idea I have of me, which is not even real? Or is it really something that I feel will benefit them and benefit humanity as a whole? We have to ask those deeper questions. Or is this just a way of me alleviating this discomfort I feel, instead of dealing with the human suffering in the way it's meant to be dealt with, like with a compassionate heart, to be observed, experienced, witnessed as a part of life. All, this pain we watch others experience is some of those beautiful weavings that form the tapestry of life, and we have to accept it with the good and the bad. But if we're trying to eliminate all bad because bad doesn't feel comfortable for us, eliminate all pain that we're experiencing in ourselves or others because it doesn't feel comfortable for this little human I call me, then that's the problem. We have to step back. We're standing in the way of life then. So we have to step back and life flow through this human with all its challenges. Let it flow through us with all its challenges, both as the person directly experiencing suffering or the person experiencing suffering in another, and this desire that we have to help. So it is a matter of looking deeply into this desire we have to help others who are challenged. We have to truly question, will this help them? When we help on a superficial level, what we tend to do in many cases, and I've experienced this as a parent many times, is enable. We enable certain behaviors that will be problematic in the long run, because right now when we're seeing them in a person, we just want to stop them. So we do whatever we can to stop them. It's almost like giving the temper tantrum child who's in the middle of the grocery store whatever they want just to keep them quiet, because it's so uncomfortable to watch them. We're so embarrassed. We're wondering what people will think when we watch them floating around the floor banging their heads. So we give them what they want, and we're thinking that's helping, but that is not helping. That's standing in the way of them learning that life is not all about all these yeses, that some no's are a part of life, and to experience both the ups and downs of being human. So when we're watching others suffer, we have to be mindful of that. Is this what they need in their lives right now? I don't know. It's not my part to judge what another person needs or doesn't need, but I have to be mindful that my helping may actually stand in the way of them getting what they need. Any physical action I take, any words I use, any support I give, be it monetary or whatever, is this going to help them in the long run? I have to ask myself that, ask the Akashic fields or the higher, the universal intelligence that's behind everything that, or is it just here to serve me? So yes, sometimes we can stand in the way of truly helping people, and we have to be mindful of that. So help is sunny side of control sometimes, and it is now our job to control the flow of life. We don't understand why life has given this person challenges. And what we consider challenges may be actually blessings in the long run for this individual. We don't know. We just don't know it all. We don't have to know it all. We just have to question we have to question if our motivation for helping taint it with a need to serve the little me, or is it something that will benefit humanity in the long run? Well, that is all I have to say about that. I hope that made sense. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.